Howdy guys, it's Ari from Paradigm Threat, and I'm here in New York City waiting for a transfer. I thought I'd do another video. This one will be about airplanes and anti-gravity technology. So my claim has been for years now that these airplanes use anti-gravity technology in a suppressed way, meaning that even the pilots and the engineers are not aware of how these planes work. So let's get into the who, what, where, when, and why, and how of this theory. So who and what? Airplanes. Every single airplane that you see in the sky, every airplane you've ever been in, uses anti-gravity technology. Now some of them don't. The oldest ones, the stunt planes that they use in the performances and so forth, they do not. They just work entirely on fan power, and they are aerodynamic. But the bigger cargo ones, they basically carry an unreasonable amount of load. They can go as high or as fast as they want. And never do we ever hear anything about aerodynamics or lack of aerodynamics on these jumbo jets. Some of them seem too big to possibly be aerodynamic, and yet they fly anyway. So all that's really required to have these planes fly is a stabilizing vertical thrust technology. To describe this technology simply, get into the what. If you've ever used a gyroscope, if you ever had one of those little toys as a kid, then you know that the gyroscopes are really awesome toys, right? They have a couple physics abilities that other objects don't have because they're spinning at such a high rate. And if you hold a spinning gyroscope in your hand, you will notice that there is a resistance to momentum, a stabilizing force. So straight up, all these airplanes have stabilizing gyroscopes. That's not a conspiracy or something that isn't known. That is known. These gyroscopes built into the planes provide horizontal stability. And they're also used in boats in the ocean to make sure the boats don't get knocked over by giant waves. But what they don't tell you about these gyroscopes is that if you add an electromagnetic field to them, if you charge them with electricity, and you create a field that is opposing itself, meaning one disk spinning one way, another one spinning another way, then you basically have created a identical electromagnetic field to the Earth itself. And by spinning this field, the opposite direction that the Earth spins, you get vertical thrust up. And if you spin in the opposite direction of that, you get a downward thrust. So, let's get to the when. When did these planes start using this technology? In World War I, the first planes came out. And they're obviously used for war, which tells you that there's no reason for anyone to have disclosed the secrets during wartime. They are war secrets. And jumbo jets all came out in World War II. Another big war of secrecy and deception. But the jumbo jets in World War II were instrumental in changing that war. One, it wasn't a big deal. But two, giant machine jumbo jets appeared in the sky over Europe and Japan and napalmed the F out of those regions. We have never seen warfare like that before. It is simply the ability to carry as much napalm up into the sky, move it as far away as you can, and drop it on an enemy. That's it. There's nothing special about these planes otherwise. Most of them didn't work very well. A lot of them fell out of the sky on their own, and many were shot down. And by the way, they were manned by children, I should say, which is very important to note. Because only children are going to accept the facts as given. And older veteran pilots would say, no, I'm not going to drop that napalm on that German city. So by using children, by using anti-gravity technology, we won World War II. And it wasn't the plan either. The plan was for Hitler to invade Germany and we would support him. But since he failed, we had to turn on Germany. And we sort of invented these airplanes out of nowhere in order to destroy Germany and win World War II. And we do know that at the same time, other type of anti-gravity technology was developed, notably flying discs. So it was a choice between the free technology that everyone would see and be aware of forever, freeing the technology, or suppressing the technology again, and creating sort of giant planes with wings that look like they're aerodynamic but hid the secret technology with them. So that was the what, and that was a little bit of the why too. The why is that since the world did not go the way the deep state wanted it in World War II, they had to suppress everything again, shut us all down, turn us on our own allies. And by doing that, they managed to convince us that these planes work exactly the way they say they do. So, another why, if you look at all of the airports in the world, you'll notice that they more or less represent the developed world. And the undeveloped world has shoddy airports and militants bombing the airports. And now we also have an energy crisis, and fuel is so expensive. I reached the end of the terminal, and I'm going to turn it on. So everything about planes is a means of control. And everything about anti-gravity technology, the ability to fly essentially for very little without using fans, propellers, jets, and fuel, is not just a solution to the plane problem, but a solution to world war. It's a peace solution. So anti-gravity could not be unsuppressed because it would call into question the victory of World War II and all of our activities since. So what we've been doing, we started with bombed Europe, then went to Japan, destroyed it, went to Korea, destroyed the south side of it and much of the north. Then Russia built the Tsar bomb, so we left Russia alone, and then we started bombing all of the other regions in Eastern Europe just to contain them. So these planes were instrumental to creating everything that we know now. The world reality, the political reality, financial, health, everything. And just like with Mars and all the other suppressed information, this stuff is held so tight, close to the chest, that there isn't going to be an easy way to explain to people what they've been flying on for the last 7 years. But interestingly, when I started making these claims 6 years ago, I saw one post on an airplane pilot forum, which unequivocally stated, linked to my post on LinkedIn, and unequivocally stated, they are starting to figure it out. So it's really moments like that all I really needed to confirm the direction of this theory. If I'm wrong about little things, I'm not wrong about the big picture. There's something really wrong with these planes. One final thought, there's something really wrong with all plane crashes. Every single crash you've ever heard of, something wrong with it. All that stuff about black box and 6 weeks to investigate, yeah, there's a reason for that. Because it's just no system of control. A lot of it happens within international boundaries, no jurisdiction. The planes come in, bulldoze the evidence, no one can say boo. So, what really happens? Let me explain what happens with these crashed flights. They do happen. An airplane that cannot crash, and these planes cannot crash, will only crash if they simulated it. 9/11 is a simulation, of course, no planes. But some of the more recent crashes, like the MAX crashes, were completely fake. And what happens is the plane goes offline where it's supposed to crash. Another plane shows up, one that's not marked and does not show up on the radar, and the empty plane will crash. The full one will land safely. And all of the people on board will be offered one simple choice. Sign the contract, never talk about it again, ever. Get all the money, and you will see your loved ones, the ones who died on the crash. You will see them again. They'll show up. And if you don't do this, then they died in the crash, officially. So it's your choice. Now, a lot of people make the simple choice, they don't care about the world politics, and they see their loved ones again. But what about the recent MAX crashes. We're seeing that those losses didn't go very well. And it turns out the families were not happy by the terms of the settlement, that they were never going to be allowed to talk about these crashes ever again. And who knows what else they're required to lie about. So they say no. And it's going to be very interesting to watch how this ends. Because I think the world caught on to this 747 MAX scam. And they know that it wasn't some software that caused any kind of nosedive, nor is it necessary to retrain all of the pilots in the world to prevent them from accidentally causing a software glitch to activate. This has been a huge exercise in mind control and, well, control in general. This is all about control. Alright, that's all my thoughts on airplanes. Feel free to leave some comments, and I'll see you guys next place. Bye!